Hey guys, we got a Hot Mess Sunday coming at you here. Whoop whoop! I got two little small mini fall projects, which it ended up still being almost a 30-minute long video. But hey, what a way to celebrate 1,000 subscribers! We're gonna start with some wood biscuits. I'm sure y'all probably know where this is going. You've seen this before, but I had a variety of sizes for biscuits, thanks to my friend Shelly. Thank you, Shelly. I got some small ones, some medium ones, and some large ones. We're going to take some of our Waverly paint, pumpkin, hazelnut, and maize, and then some of my bluish greenish concoction I mixed up there, the Sabrina Special. And we're going to swirly, ka-swirly, and abracadabra, kapoki, poof. You didn't want to watch me paint all that anyway. Now, I've got quite a lot of biscuits here because we're not just going to make them flat. We're going to make them kind of two-sided, three-dimensional. So you're going to take 3 of them, just set them down. And then we're going to take my wood glue from the Dollar Tree here. We're going to glue 2 of them on top of the 3. And then we're going to glue 1 more on top of the 2. Kind of like you're making a little pyramid there. And I kind of cut out a lot of me trying to line it up. I also wipe all the extra glue off. I'll show you one more time. Just line up 3 of them. And then you glue 2 on top of the 3. Yup. There we go. Oop, whoop. And then we'll glue 1 on top of the 2. There's my Sabrina Special color. Yeah, love it. Love it. So I won't put you through the misery of watching all the others. Now we got 3 more little biscuits there for each one. I will show you each one. There's our pumpkin. There is our Sabrina Special color. There is our maize, and there is our hazelnut. Yes. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take them, and we're going to flip it over, and we're going to glue these last 3 on. So we're back to having 3 on the bottom, and we'll stack 2 on top of the 3, and I'll adjust it because it got all wonky, because I wanted to use my wood glue so they stick real good and not just hot glue. So I was trying to be careful and trying to be good, but I cut out a lot of the wiggly woggly and me trying to make everything nice and smooth and flush so that they stand up. So same thing with the maize here. I'll show you one more time. Flip it over, glue 2 to the back, and then 1 more on top of the 2. And there we go. And then what I did here in a second, I believe, is I sit them all up and I kind of push them down a little bit, just to make sure that they are kind of level so that they will sit up. Not that it's going to matter because I'm going to glue them down anyway. But, hey, if you just wanted them to sit on the table, there you go. So there they are. Now, of course, we're looking at kind of little sparse on the paint on the other side where I flipped it over. So, of course, we're going to take our paint and we're going to touch these guys up to make sure all the edges are done and all that good stuff. So, but I won't put you through the misery of all that. I'll just kind of show you what kind of the plan here was with just my little distressing brush, fuzzy brush from Dollar Tree. I also made sure to push down on those tops and bottoms to get in between all those little points and cracks. Now, this is how you don't do this. I wanted to show you how I started. So I took my snippers here. Moose is going to help. And I'm just trying to cut the tip of one of those or 2 of those little biscuits off on the inside so we could put a little stem in there, right? Okay, this was a big problem. So I'll show you an easier way to do that here in just a little bit. So I then took my miter shears and I cut me the size that I wanted off my stem, which of course came from Dollar Tree as well. All this was in my stash. That moss came from Wally World. And what I'll do is I did just use hot glue for this because at this point I was in a hurry and this was the next day and I was like, okay, I want to get this done. I have no patience. So now this is also not the way to do this. So after I glued him down, you could see he's not sitting very well because this isn't how to do this. This is not how to do this. Yeah, right. Okay. So I took some glue, put it around the stem, and now I'm smushing and hoping that the moss will stabilize the stem so that it don't wiggle. And it does. Once it sets and it dries, it does work. Not a problem. But there is an easier way. I'll get to that in just a second. But don't be like me and do it this way. So it all turned out. It worked out pretty good. Snipped it with some sneers there. Now, here's how you do it. Put your shears at a 45-degree angle and cut your stems at a 45-degree angle, just like this. Cut the stem, not the tips of the biscuits on the pumpkin, and it slips right in there. Boom. Then I didn't even cut the tops of the biscuits. I didn't have to try to dig in there. So once again, hot glue, angle that in there. It kind of makes it a little crooked, but what pumpkin stem goes straight, right? So, and there we go. It's not wiggling. It's not wobbling. Once that glue sets, it fit in there perfectly. So just cut your stems at a 45-degree angle rather than try to take your miter shears and snip off the ends of biscuits that you can't even get the point into. And here's how to put the moss on. Take some, roll it up in a ball, and then you kind of punch a tiny hole in the middle with your finger. Do you see my finger come up through the middle? Put your glue around the stem, and then the moss, just slide it over the top of the stem where the hole was. Push it down, mush it down, boom. Give her a little trim, give her a little haircut. I think I finally had this figured out by finally once I got to my last blue pumpkin down there, I had this figured out. Woohoo! Okay, so you know these little hay bales that you can get at the Dollar Tree, right? Guys, they're pieces of foam with some shredded stuff on the outside, which doesn't look hardly like a hay bale at all. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm taking these big hay bales that I probably got from like Hobby Lobby or something, and I'm just kind of brushing them. I'm not cutting them. I'm just taking my hand and rubbing on them, and be careful doing that because, you know, if you get too rough, you might poke yourself, okay? So I'm just kind of getting all the extra hay and loose hay off of there and putting it in a bucket. So there we go. I didn't even cut them or nothing. I thought I was going to have to take one apart, but I didn't. So we're going to go back to our wood glue here, and I'm going to put wood glue on all the sides of these little pitiful foam pieces that are hay bales from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to dip it in my hay here that I got off with a moose tail. And I'm just kind of smushing it and getting that hay around the little foam piece. And then I kind of realized, oh, I need some extra on the ends. So if I saw a little bare spot, I put some more glue on it. I rolling around in the hay. Hey, we gonna roll in the hay. And there we go. And so they made the best. Look at this. Look at this comparison. Those are my two compared to that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Ah! And I already had every bit of this stuff. So yeah, we're going to do the rest of those, and I only did 4. Now we're going to take our little palette here, because you know I got a million of those things. Going to take my truffle paint, not the antique wax, because I didn't want to take the antique wax because I'm going to be gluing everything on top of the palette. If you use the antique wax, your glue is liable not to stick. Didn't want to take that chance, so I'm just using some Truffle Waverly chalk paint and a wet baby wipe and just wiping it on there because I didn't want it dark, but I didn't want it that bright, you know, wood color either. I'm going to take some just little pieces of pip berries, pretty much just snipped one little pip off the stem, and I'm going to twist them around the handle of a skinny little paintbrush. Do that to all 4. And these will be the little spirally twindle, you know, I guess I can't figure out that word. But then I'll just put some glue on the end of it, and I'll put them in. I should have probably put 2 on each one, but I only put 1 on each pumpkin, but that's okay. They're little pumpkins. I didn't want to go overboard, but now I wish I would have done some more. The biggest thing I wish I would have done is I wish I would have sanded the biscuits on the ends and distressed them with some like walnut distressing ink or something, but I did not do that. I totally forgot about it until my peep Joanna had mentioned something the other day about being rustic, and I thought, man, I was supposed to distress and sand down those pumpkins, and I forgot. And it's already done 3 days later, and there's no getting these pumpkins off this palette, because watch what happens. Okay, so I'm going to take 2 of those hay bales, hot glue along with the wood glue, and I'm just going to sit 2 of those side by side, right in the corner there, mush them together, because remember, it's foam, it's squishy. And then our big Sabrina Special Blue pumpkin there is going to go right on top of those 2 hay bales. Now, what I do is I put just a couple drops here and there of the wood glue on the ends of the biscuits, and then a couple drops of the hot glue. Got your permanent temporary hold, and I'm sitting there praying, hoping it stays. I try to push it down some so some of the point would go down into the foam of it, but I'm not sure if it did, but hey, it's holding up. Now we're going to take our 2 medium-sized pumpkins there, And I'm going to glue those on those ends right there. And we're going to do the same routine. Just a couple little drops of the wood glue, boop, boop, be doop. And then just a couple little drops of the hot glue, boop, boop, be doop. And put those onto our palette. I do kind of take some time in between, but I cut all that out of getting all the glue that oozed out. I kind of use some Q-tips and my baby wipes to kind of get some of any of the extra glue that oozed out between the biscuits and the palette and stuff, and got all that off. Okay, so here's our other two hay bales. I'm going to glue those in front of the medium and then glue little Mr. Small Pumpkin in the front. I use this little wheat pick from the Dollar Tree from like a year or two ago. And I just put those little white sunflowers in there with some of those little sprigs of the wheat. Now, we got to have a sign. So, we're going to take a calendar and, the little pieces on the back that we all use. I had this little square that I had painted black a long time ago. It's just a little piece of wood. It's off one of those little wood boxes from the Dollar Tree. And so that's just a side of it that I cut off many moons ago. And I cut out that picture. It was the October picture with the little black truck and the pumpkins. I used my glue stick there, the old trusty rusty glue stick, and covered it and kind of centered that the best I could on top of my little wood piece. It was just a little wood piece, and I painted it with some ink chalk paint, black chalk paint, but that was just in my stash because I never finished the project. Anywho, now we need a little bit of matte Mod Podge there just to cover it so our calendar piece does not get messed up. It's good and stuck and our paint doesn't come off, and I go around the front, the back, the sides, and I only put you through half that misery. We'll dry it real quick. It did dry pretty quick. Quick. Now we're going to take that little stick there that has the little garden sign on them that you can get at Dollar Tree in the pack. That sign was crooked as a dog's hind leg, let me tell you. But it didn't matter. I'm putting it on the back. I just made sure the stick was in the middle and the stick was straight. So that sign doesn't look straight, but the stick is straight on my sign, so it's okay. So I made sure that held on there pretty good. I need to paint the back of that because I forgot. I just realized that. But we're going to take this, and that's got a pokey into it, and I'm trying to figure out where I want this. Let's see. Here, no. Here, no. Here, no. I end up putting it in the back and kind of giving it a little bit of a tilt. I like it in the back, but I wish it would have tilted it maybe the other way to the left instead of to the right. But there we go. There's our little mini pumpkin patch with our biscuits. Oh, isn't it so cute? I know you guys have seen the pumpkins made with the biscuits, but I just wanted to do something totally different. So just a little miniature pumpkin patch. See how bright they are? I wish I would have sanded the edges of the biscuits to pull that wood color back out and then distressed it with some like walnut ink or even my Waverly wax, because I didn't even wax any of this stuff, and I just realized that now too. So hopefully nothing gets wet. But, it's all good. It's all good. I love this. It's just so little. It's so cute. It fits all on top of the palette. You can see it kind of compared to my old grungy hand there. Sorry about that. But I was really happy. I was so excited with the way this came out. It's so cute. Look at her. She's so cute. I know you can't see the welcome sign very well. Well, here's DIY number 2, miniature. So we've got a little terracotta pot here. I believe I got from Walmart. Tea light from Dollar Tree. You guys probably know where I'm going with this. This is also a Pinterest kind of inspiration here, but on a miniature version. We're going to take our truffle and paint the saucer part and the bottom lip of that, and our cashew and paint the top. We're going to make this a little scarecrow poof, bam, there we go. All right, so we got our top that is the cashew, and our bottom and our saucer that is the truffle. It's going to sit together on there just like that. I took my pencil and I drew a little scarecrow face, which turns into being a little bit of a hot mess here in a little bit, but we're going to take our Posca markers and this terrible, horrible orange paint marker from Temu. Yep, didn't have an orange Posca marker, but did the best I could. Yeah, okay. Here we go. All right, so start with our eyeballs here. I'm kind of getting the rest of my eyeballs finished just to prove to you that I did draw this, I promise. So I usually put a picture in front of me when I draw my faces, but my pictures are on my phone and I record with my phone. So, couldn't do the same thing at both times, but here we go. So I'm going to start with my white, just drawing my little eyeballs on there. I give these 2 coats of my paint marker. So I put this first coat on. I hit it with my heat gun, let it dry, and then I put another round of the white on, and the eyeballs don't look too shabby. So, get those dried up so I don't stick my finger in them like I do in a little while with the blue, but you know. Okay, so taking my orange, this horrible paint marker here, it's just that the tip on it is so thick. The paint just oozes out all over. It's just, bleh, and it's kind of like, it's not thick, it's more watery, and I keep trying to fix it and make it bigger, and now it's running into my eyeball, and it's just a hot mess. Anyway, it'll look better after I trace it. Okay, yeah, and it is dry. It's just shiny compared to the Posca markers. Yep, I'm out of frame here, and yes, I drew it, but do I follow it? But no, of course not. So I'm going to put little X's on it. Do I like this? No, but of course not. It looks like Leatherface Chainsaw Massacre type scarecrow going on here. But we'll fix that in a little bit too, friends. When it's paint and it goes bad, you can always paint over it. You can tell I'm getting a little frustrated here, but it'll be okay. Let me go ahead and take this black right here, and I'm going to outline my eyeballs, again, out of frame, so you can't see what I'm doing. But you can see me on this one, so here we go. Eyeballs aren't looking too bad. Those are looking pretty good. I'm going to outline my little nose there. Yep, making sure it's dry first. And so that made that look a little bit better and set it off from the eyeballs so it didn't all bleed together. Still kind of disgruntled by the mouth I made, but you know. So here we go. Going to get the little centers of my eyeballs in here just with my black. I should have left it alone just like this. Like I said, I usually use a picture but didn't have it in front of me. My lesson learned, get a picture. Okay, so I put the little dashes on the nose, and this is when it really hit me. Wow, that's what I want to do to the mouth. Yeah, not the X's. So, anywho, we'll get that fixed in just a second. I'm going to take that light blue marker. See the frustration? Yeah, here I am already busting out the cashew. Look, I'm trying to get Moose's approval. Look, does it look good? Look, he won't even look at it. He's like, oh, nope, nope. Here's what I think of it. Take my booty tail, all right? Okay, so first the eyes. I took this light blue, and I was going to paint over it, and I'm painting over it slowly, and then I leave a little black pupil in the middle of it, and that make him look like Psycho Leatherface Chainsaw Massacre dude. So that doesn't go over very well either. So we're going to color in that whole thing. And that light blue just was not doing it for me, so I get a darker blue out here in a little bit. You can see it sitting there. But before I do that, we are going to take our cashew and paint over this mouth, because, yep, that ain't happening. It took about 3 coats or so to paint over that black marker, and I also, getting in a hurry, got into my nose, so I had to fix my nose. Yeah, anyway, yeah, I dried in between layers. Yeah, here's about the 3rd layer. You can see I got into my nose, so I'm going to have to take my black. I'm going to have to fix my nose. Here we go. Nose fixed. Okay. Now I'm just going to kind of fix my eyeballs down there where I put that other blue in, because now he's got pretty blue eyes. Yep. I know there needed to be something more added to the eyes. I didn't want to do eyelashes, really, because it's a boy, not a girl. And here we're just going to wing the mouth this time. And now I'm just going to put my dashes in and not the crisscross. And okay, yes, we are happy with that now. Okay, going to leave it. Throwing the hands in the air. We're done. Leave it alone. Saucer will go on top. So I'm excited now. So we've got all these little tiny pumpkins here from some potpourri kind of stuff from Dollar Tree a couple years ago. Those little scatterball things. One little sunflower left, and all these other little pieces left from the wheat pick that I was using earlier on my pumpkins. Some little miniature pine cones, some leaves over there. Like I said, you guys have probably seen this on Pinterest just on a bigger scale, but I'm making it on a miniature scale. So this is just a dry fit right here. I just kind of saw where I kind of wanted everything. Nothing's glued in yet or anything like that. So I'm just kind of seeing where I wanted it. We're going to make sure the little sunflower sticks up front. I also have to make sure that I can get the light in and out. And again, being so small, it kind of makes it a little difficult, but it all works out. Yes, it does. So we're going to go with fast speed here. Just going to take some hot glue. I'm going to hot glue those leaves down in there. Then get all these little sprigs of yellow and white that came off those wheat picks and just kind of stick those in here and there. I'm going to save the pine cones, the pumpkins, and the little scatterball stuff for later. I'm going to take my little sunflower here in just a second. Well, I guess I don't save the pine cones for later. I just stuck them in right now. Don't forget, guys, your flowers from Dollar Tree, hit them with the heat gun. They've got 2 layers of petals. Twist them. That'll fluff it out. You see the camera shake? Yeah, that's the mousse. Watch what happens here in a second. I'm going to tidy up my little sunflower here. I'm going to put all my little stuff right there. Keep your eye on the pumpkins. Yep, keep an eye on it. Bam! Yep, you sure did see him do that. He was so proud of himself. Yes, he was. So anyway, left that in there for y'all. All right, so making sure that sunflower goes right in the front, where I'm going to want that to sit in front of his little noggin there on the scarecrow. And I'll just quickly glue the little scatter balls in and the pumpkins in before they go flying everywhere again. Get all the little glue webbies off, but don't get it too hot because like some of those florals and of course the foam glitter ball scatter will melt. So we're very careful. There's my little light. There's the little sunflower. Oh, this came out so cute. I was so happy. He needs one more little thing, though. You know what he needs? He needs to look like he's got some clothes on. So we're going to take some of this little ribbon here that I had in my stash, and we're just going to glue that around the bottom of the rim down there. I'm going to start at the back so that hopefully nobody sees where it starts and stops. I'm going to line up the edge with the edge of the rim right there, and then I'll glue it again when we get to the back. I did put a little dot of hot glue in the very front, kind of under his mouth to kind of keep it from sagging in the front. So between that dot there and the dots in the back, it's not going anywhere. It looks good. And now I've got this raffia bow that I got off some other project I had thrifted. You know us, we can't ever throw anything away. Sorry for the snot, guys. Okay. And we're going to take some of that and we're going to just cut chunks of that off. He needs some hair. So I'm just going to cut some chunks of this off and we're going to glue it around the edge on the top right there. I had to stop this, pause it, because I stuck my fingers in the blue ink for his eyeballs and then stuck my blue finger all over his head. So yeah, I had to repaint the head and cashew again. Didn't have to redo the face. I just had a couple blue thumbprints on the side of his head right here. So, had to take care of that and touch that up before I glued the hair on. Okay, so he got all his hair on, and I just kept as stuff fell off. I glued it back on. If you hear the kids fighting underneath me, you know, it's okay. You know what's happening. Okay, anyway, so now we're going to make sure we're going to have to trim up this top. I just took my scissors and just lined it up right with the edge of the terracotta pot there, trimmed it all up because our top lid there has to fit back on, the little saucer. I'll kind of pull this out, had some twirls in it from being kinked in the bow, and I will trim that up a little bit more on the top. We were going to trim it up on the bottom. Be careful doing this so you don't trim your ribbon with your pom-poms. You don't have to ask me how I know, because no, I did not do that. I did not trim off a single ball on my pom-poms. I was so proud of myself. With everything else that happened, I was totally in shock that I did not trim off one of the balls of pom-poms. But I did not. Go team. So there we go. It sits right back on. There he is, isn't he? Gordy kind of looks like more like a pilgrim or something. Anyway, but that's okay. So we're going to use some Fix-All glue and some hot glue to glue the little lid on there. Our candle can still pop in and out very easily, so we can turn it on and off. I hope you guys are liking what you see. We got some miniatures for 1,000 subscribers. Yes! Let's keep going, guys. Be staying tuned for a giveaway, which will include a gift card and some other goodie loot. And I'll give you details on that when I figure it out. We just finished our Friday. We did our last Friday, this Friday of school. So we're at our 4-day weeks. So we got 4-day weeks. We got 3-day weekends. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I got 3 days on the weekend to get you guys some stuff. Oh, yeah, Hot Mess Sundays, all that other good stuff. Showing you some Mod Podge right here because I should have Mod Podged his face, just like I should have my pumpkins, but we didn't do all that because you know what? We like to live on the wild side. Hot Mess Express train, pull it on through, guys. I can't thank you enough for more than this 1,000 subscribers. Let's keep shooting for more. Stay tuned for giveaway details. Stay tuned for when I do that live. You guys down in comments, tell me, would you rather a Friday night, Saturday evening, or a Sunday evening instead of my Hot Mess Sunday crafts? You guys let me know when you'd like that live, what y'all want to do. I can't thank you guys enough. There's also something new called a hype button. If you go to comments and swipe and hit the hype, that pushes our little bitty channels out to get some more love around here. You guys like, subscribe, comment. I will see you later. I love y'all.